I'm Lorna Heap and I'm a freelance theatre captioner.
What is captioning?
Theatre captioning is similar to subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing for TV, but for live theatre and specifically for live scripted theatre. So we know what people are saying in advance to a certain extent, so we do a lot of work in advance, and then on the night we do the live cueing of the captions.
What goes into putting on a caption performance?
So we'll receive the script and a video a month or so in advance, and then we'll match the script to what the actors are actually saying. We'll add in sound effects, sometimes accents if they're pertinent to the plot, and music descriptions. And then we format that all so that it'll fit on the specially designed screens that sit either side of the stage or sometimes above the stage. And make sure that that's all going to fit and that it flows properly and that you can read it quickly. And then we prep for the performance. So we'll watch a couple of live performances and we will do the show. So we live cue the show, and then that's the end of the process.
Why is captioning so important?
One of the reasons that I think captioning is so important is that we often forget how isolating of an experience it can be to miss a joke or to have everyone around you laughing or gasping or crying and for you to have no idea what's happening. So there's a huge range of people that captioning benefits. Obviously deaf people, hard of hearing people, people who've lost their hearing later in life, people for whom English is not their first language, and it just allows people to go to the show and be confident that if they miss something they can check the screen and pop back to the stage and not feel left out and isolated, or not lose access to theatre altogether, which is the case for some people when captioning is not available.
In practice, where will the captioning be on stage?
So in Norwich Theatre Royal, they've got a great setup where they have two screens, one either side of the stage at sort of balcony level. And the reason for that positioning is that, first of all, they're very close to the stage, so you don't have to do too much tennis head moving, but also it means that almost anywhere that you sit in the auditorium, you have access to one of the screens at least.
Can I still enjoy the show if I don't need to use caption?
Yeah, you can just not use them. Some people do say that they find them distracting, but I think we're finding as well that as more and more people are getting used to using subtitles on their phones and on TV, I know that I don't personally have a hearing problem, but I'm nearly always using subtitles on TV. So I think text is becoming a bit more normal for all of us. But if people really find them distracting, it's usually one performance in a whole run that's captioned, so you can just come to another performance.
Do you get to see all the shows that you are captioning?
Yes, I have to see all the shows that I'm captioning. I probably watch the video about 4 or 5 times in total. Sometimes there are 2 videos, which is great because you get to see, obviously it's live and it changes. And then in an ideal world, if there's time, I'll watch from the audience so that I can hear what the audience are hearing, and then I'll watch from my little box and make my notes on my script, and then I'll watch the show again when I'm live cueing the captions.
How do you distinguish from different characters when you're captioning?
So part of what makes captioning and subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing different from translated subtitles for like a French TV show is that you do identify each speaker. So every time someone new speaks their name or an abbreviation of their name, like I can't think of a good example, but there are some Shakespearean names where you do have to cut it down quite a bit so if it's on the screen, everyone's identified every time. And then if perhaps someone is disguising themselves as someone else, or they're putting on an accent, or they're mimicking someone else, there's little tools that we can use like information in brackets or italics to add that information in the text.
How did you get into captioning?
I got into captioning, I did a drama degree, and then I worked as an intern at a theatre in London who had some funding available to put on some access performances, which they'd never done before. So I got to grips with all the equipment and learned how all of the access performances work. And then luckily they had some funding to train captioners, so I started captioning there, and then I came to Norwich and captioned here, and now it's one of the few things that I do as a freelancer.
What happens if there are last minute script changes or a character goes off piece?
Usually, hopefully, we're informed if there are last minute script changes. Panto is a particularly challenging, I think it's challenging for all access providers, including audio description and BSL interpreters and captions. But we watch it the night before if we can, which gives you the best sense of where the show is in that particular couple of day period. And so you can catch some differences. And also in my caption script, I have comment lines that tell me to choose between two options. If I've heard that they've maybe changed it slightly, I'll keep the original and the new version. And if I have to, I can live type, but it won't be particularly fast. So that does delay things a little bit.
What has been your favourite show to see and caption?
I think I'm going to have to say Les Mis, because I was due to caption it just before the pandemic hit, and the shows had to be cancelled because everything shut down. So I think it was like a year that we all waited to then, and the audiences were waiting, and there was this huge kind of anticipation for the show to come. But I do find that every show, even if it's not my kind of show, when I first see the script or the video, by the time I've done it 17 times, watched the video, seen the script, got to know all the nuances, I kind of fall in love with each one, which sounds a bit sappy, but it is true.
For more information, visit our Access information page at norwichtheatre.org.